If you're looking at this video, you need some tips about how to deliver a Maid of Honor speech, and I've got your back. It's easier than you think. Let's get started. No, I'm not a Maid of Honor, but I'm a professional speaker. I've done this for 30 years. And after being a best man a bunch, but also just watching Maids of Honors struggle through this process, I've got some ideas that'll make it a lot easier for you. And the number one tip I want you to understand is, I know you want it to be perfect, but oddly, imperfection is in many ways better. So yes, I know you want to just deliver this thing like a home run, but oddly, if you are more authentically you and you just really let yourself out, including all of your imperfections, your connection to the audience will be stronger, which also means your connection to the bride and groom is going to be stronger. You just want to really open yourself up and allow yourself to be you. And that means if you forget your lines or you get a little teary-eyed or you're just a little awkward or nervous, that's fantastic, because that's you and it shows that you're human, and that's what we really want. We don't want a robot up there toasting the bride and groom. We want somebody who really cares about the bride and groom, somebody who really is enjoying the emotion and the celebration. And if that's you, that's perfect. Just let it happen. That's my first tip. Second tip is to ask you to think about, as you're writing a speech, why did they pick you? And speak to that. So if you were roommates since freshman year, talk a little bit about that. If you have been friends since you were in fourth grade, let's hear about what it was like to be a fourth grade buddy of this bride. What information and insight do you have that no one else has? That's what we really want. So that gives us to the next part, which is when you're picking an anecdote or two, make sure they're anecdotes that are relevant to you and that you know about and you feel strongly about. If you've enjoyed hanging out with the bride because in her endless search of tacos, talk about that. And then at the end, you're going to connect her endless search of tacos to her new husband, right? Here comes another tip. It doesn't have to be that long. We start to get hung up and think, how long does it have to be? It doesn't. It has to be you. As long as you're up there and authentically cheering on and loving on and celebrating this new couple, short is fine. And in fact, one of the biggest ways maids of honors make a mistake is to just go on too far. So don't do that. Now, let's talk about being funny. I know you'd really like to have a really funny joke that just tears up the audience. Jokes happen through stories. So instead of thinking about what is my funny joke, think about what is that crazy thing you did with the bride or the groom, or what is the crazy thing that she said about the groom, or whatever. What is the really funny thing she did in 7th grade at the public swimming pool? It's so much easier to get your laughs by just telling not even a hilarious, but an amusing anecdote. So much better to do that than try to get up there and say, so a bride and a groom walk into a bar. It's weird. So worry about humor second. Instead, tell an anecdote. That's nice. If it can be a upbeat and cheerful one, that's even better. If it can be one that is kind of funny, that's great. And let your humor come from that. And finally, on that point, you don't need it to be hilarious. So if you're just telling a funny story and they're not laughing, don't worry. If you're connecting with the audience and you're loving on and celebrating, that's all they really want. Now here's a final tip. We tend to think of maids of honor and best men speeches as kind of a solitary thing. You need to lock yourself in a room and get this thing done, and no one knows about it, right? It's a big secret. It doesn't have to be that way. And in fact, it's better when it's not, I think. So it's kind of fun and also way more successful if you bring in a team. So ask your buddies, ask the other maids, right? Bridesmaids. You can ask the couple. You can ask your bride. I'm thinking about telling this story. How does that go again? Why was that so funny? Do you remember what we did? That's fine. Everyone loves to be included. Everyone loves to be asked for advice, and everyone loves to be asked for help. And when you ask your peeps to help you with this Maid of Honor speech, they're going to feel like $1 million because you trust them enough to ask for their input. And everyone will be happy for you when you pull this thing off, and you know that it was better because you had help. Boom. That's it. My name is Brad Montgomery. BradMontgomery.com. You've got this. Just be yourself. Instead of going for the home run, just go for a solid single, and then notice that single will end up as a home run. If you shoot too far, it kind of gets in your head and messes it up. Just be yourself. Let them know you care. Let them know you're happy for them. And that's it. You've got this.